think there's a lot of people who like to make fun of philosophy for the idea of the multiverse. Multiverse theory and the concept of philosophy is sort of different than the multiverse theories that science works on according to physics, and it sort of changes with implications of new physics discoveries. Philosophy is contingent upon science. We always have to remember that. As good philosophers, we have to take note of new scientific discoveries, adjust, and obsolete or change current conceptual foundations. That's what sets philosophy apart from religion. Religion just tries to interpret differently, which honestly is just disingenuous relativism. Philosophy welcomes criticism of its foundational definitions by science because good philosophy is grounded in objective reality. That's reality that exists before, during, and after human perceptual experience. So talking about the multiverse in philosophy is a lot about would different concepts evolve necessarily in all possible universes. There's some metaphysical arguments which probably lend to the bad name of multiverse theory in philosophy. There's some metaphysical arguments about just being able to conceive of an alternate universe means that universe is at least metaphysically existent, right? It's like the biggest circularity you could ever create. Even somebody who's living by sense experience alone, let's say common sense, like actual common sense, they would laugh at this. Why is it funny? Probably because it implies that language and definitions and categories have the same power and emergence as the evolution of the universe we see around us. As if just because we created a category and gave it a word, now we are creators of the universe. So why wouldn't there be skepticism from people who are typically skeptical about everything, including science? We can conceive of unicorns. That doesn't mean they necessarily exist. It just means that we have the ability to fill the gap between horses and mysticism and animals with horns. So when we talk about something like nomic necessity, it's really a term that applies when talking about consistency across multiverses, which is highly speculative and more of a thought experiment than anything. But I will say that it's helpful because it helps us separate what's deterministic and universal from the other end of the spectrum, which is as close to free will as we can get, and in essence that's particular to individual agents. Nomic necessity is likely to be deterministic and universal across all multiverse possibilities. Let's talk about nomic necessity. Nomic necessity refers to the idea that something is necessarily true due to the laws of nature. It is a concept used in philosophy, particularly in discussions about metaphysics and the philosophy of science. Key features: dependence on laws of nature. Nomic necessity arises from the constraints imposed by laws of nature. For example, it's nomically necessary that water boils at 100 degrees Celsius under standard atmospheric pressure because this follows from the physical and chemical laws governing water. Contrast with logical necessity. Unlike logical necessity, which holds in all possible worlds because of the principles of logic, nomic necessity holds only in worlds where the same laws of nature apply. For instance, logically necessary 2 + 2 = 4 is true in all conceivable worlds. Nomically necessary objects fall toward the earth due to gravity is only true in worlds governed by the same physical laws as ours with gravity. Physical implications. It raises questions about the contingency of necessity of the laws of nature themselves. Are the laws fixed across all possible worlds, or could the laws of nature differ? It distinguishes between what's possible according to the laws of nature and what's possible in a broader logical sense. A good philosopher always has his ear to the ground, following all the latest scientific discoveries. Philosophers are rightly fascinated with quantum physics. If there's even the slightest clue there about what's going on with objective reality, and it's sort of a handshake interaction with agent perception, philosophers want to know and change to get our concepts and perspectives in line with mankind's foundational knowledge base. But reality is a complex, changing beast. Computers with AI really are the potential telescope that will allow us to expand our perceptual potential to get a better view of what's going on with us. Eventually, AI models will start computing possible universes, and they will travel beyond the frontier of limitation that they're now hindered by, the limitation of the human knowledge base. Pretty soon they'll be able to speculate about and model the multiverse, which will give them special omniscience into our universe. Hopefully I'm alive to see it. It's sort of why I started building this channel early. I sort of hope to have a healthy following by the time AI starts trending towards omniscience, so I can curate the absurd for you guys. Because think about how crazy it will be just to ask AI the secrets of the universe and have it actually create new information. At the moment, it just reorganizes things and does a pretty good job with grammar and sentence structure. And AI is essentially great with delivering structured replies. The replies themselves are very general, but it does a good job of keeping things structured. So eventually, when it's able to cross that frontier of human knowledge, I believe you could see it in the graphs, how they kind of come down and they curve to the right. And then as you add more compute, they drop further down, but they're never allowed to cross this sort of diagonal threshold. And I believe that's because no matter how much compute you add, you've only got so much human knowledge. And so the only way out of that is, grow human knowledge over time, which will take forever, or to have them speculate about a multiverse given the information they have. Then all of a sudden their speculations will be able to extend past that line. Of course, probability of them being correct will probably go down the further they move out on timelines. But at least then there'll be something to go to that might produce inspiring results. Anyway, if you guys like this kind of philosophical subject matter, help us out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.